Before continuing on with examples of quotient groups, like example 2, 3, 4, I'd like to make a few general comments on WordPress, the company WordPress. They cite my website for free, which is very nice. I do notice they have software that allows you to have a look at how many hits you get per day, and interestingly, from which countries. So I'm noticing lately, now that you're getting towards the end of this course, I mean this is lecture 17, and there are only 19 lectures in the whole course. We're getting close to the end of the textbook. So I dare say some of you are starting to follow this course seriously, in the sense that you're truly studying it, doing the homeworks, maybe you have the textbook and so on. And it's interesting to watch which countries are consistently having higher numbers than many other countries. And I can tell you, you may find this interesting, the countries that most and regularly hit this site are America and Canada. Now you may be surprised about Canada, but I suspect strongly one of the reasons why Canada is so high, almost comparable to America, is that there are lots of proxy servers in Canada that serve the Chinese. So I'd be at all surprised that many English-speaking Chinese, whose English is good, are using proxy servers to watch this site. Now, other countries, Germany, I notice, is strong. Britain, certainly. Singapore, which is not surprising. Many Chinese in Singapore. Singapore has freedom of speech, and with strong English. These Chinese English speakers are smart, right? Singapore, a very successful country. What are some of the others? Well, they're the main ones. Germany. Germans are very smart and disciplined. And I do notice this correlation. So it's a combination of national intelligence and English speaking. And population size. I guess they're the three main factors. Have you? I can't remember if I mentioned in my introductory video, but if not, have you heard of the so-called World IQ map? There's been a lot of research the last couple of decades on which regions have what kind of average IQ, and I notice those results correlate with the countries hitting my website. Because remember, what I'm trying to do, one of my major goals, is to try to educate a generation of alphas, right? So I'm aiming at you guys, the alphas, and defining an alpha as somebody in the top 1%, the top percentile of intelligence. So you're the cream, you're a precious resource for your country, for your culture. And I'm trying to teach you to high level, higher than is what usually taught at universities, because I make YouTube lectures, right? I can go to any level I like. I'm totally free that way. So part of my plan is to teach you guys to high level. As I said in the introductory video, I would like to help create a new generation, or a generation of people who are competent in TQC, topological quantum computing, who know PhD level pure math and math physics, so that they can understand the principles of topological quantum computers. Because when they come, everything's going to change. If you've not seen me talk about that in the introductory video, have a look at that. To get back to the World IQ map, which is interesting, if you've not heard this before, I'll start from bottom to top. The very dumbest people in the world, as a group, as a culture, are the Australian blacks, the Aborigines. Their average IQ, as measured on IQ tests, is 60. And then the African blacks, about 1 billion of them, average IQ 70. And then at 85, a great bulk of humanity, like the Native Americans, like North American, Central American, South American natives, North Africans, so the Arabs, Middle East, and Indians. The Indians average 85. The blacks in America, because there's so much sex in the slave time between black women and white slave male owners, the average black IQ in America is 85. So a lot of people on the planet average IQ 85. At 100, by definition, because they were the people who created the IQ tests, were the Europeans and Russians. So Northern Europe, from Portugal, Spain, right across to Vladivostok in Russia. So 100 on average. Within Europe, the Dutch and the Germans, I think, are the smartest. They have an average IQ of 105. And at 105 are the Northeast Asians, so China, Korea, Japan. They average 105. And it's not surprising, economies, these countries' economies, well, more or less, match their performance. Now, that's certainly not true of China, which is quite backward in many respects. But the Chinese are smart. I mean, they have been the world's dominant culture for a long time, for about a millennium, between the fall of, say, Roman Empire and the beginning of European Renaissance. And Chinese are now roaring back to take back their old position as being the dominant culture. That's one of the reasons why I live in China. I'm just twiddling my thumbs, waiting with great impatience for China to democratize and civilize and legalize. And then I hope, if I'm still alive in the 2020s, 2030s, that China will be the most exciting place on the planet intellectually, because I feel I have so much to teach the Chinese. But I can't do it now, because if I tried, I'd just get thrown out of the country. I'm safe, I hope, so long as I limit myself to English. But if I started sprouting my true feelings about Chinese culture in Chinese, fluent Chinese, it'd be too dangerous for me. Today's Chinese government is a brutal dictatorship, hated by most of the world. Okay, so it's interesting seeing the correlations that I watch daily on the WordPress statistics that give me on the hits from which countries to my lectures, MPC lectures. That's interesting. All right, so I thought I'd talk about this because I would appreciate from you feedback. So this time I've put something new on the board, and I think I'll leave it there from now on. It's my email address. So it's just Prof. Hugo deGaris. Hugo deGaris is my name, and this Prof for Professor. So Prof. Hugo deGaris is just the same as in my website, the website link. So Prof. Hugo deGaris at yahoo.com. So if you are studying these lectures seriously, I'm curious to hear from you. It would be nice to get some feedback, because put yourself in my shoes. What am I doing? I'm talking to this piece of black electronic plastic, right? It's only intellectually that I'm imagining myself that there may be, I don't know, who knows, maybe a couple of years from now, there may be 1 million of you. We'll see. So anyway, I would appreciate some feedback, and especially if you have constructive criticism. For example, is the writing, is it too foggy? Can you see it? One of the things I would really like to do is somebody suggested I might be able to film in high definition, because right now I'm filming in standard definition. That's a lower resolution. I tried initially, when I bought my camera, to film in high definition, but I found that to upload a 10-minute clip to YouTube in high definition, it took me virtually all day, literally, not 4 hours, but more like 20. So I thought that was impractical. But somebody suggested there is software that allows you to compress that HD, that high definition video, and then send it off to YouTube. So I'm looking into that. I'm getting help from some people. That would be really nice if I could film the board in high definition. So that's something that I'd really like to do if possible. Now, because I'm getting close to the end of this lecture series, this lecture course, the next one will be a physics course. I try to alternate math, physics, with the occasional computer science or computer theory lecture or course thrown in, because computer theory is basically just pure mathematics. It's in the same format as pure math. In other words, theorem, proof. So there are some computer theory courses that I will do, maybe compared to the math numbers and the physics numbers, maybe 10% of that, just a sprinkling of that, right? So if you have other suggestions, please email me, because it would be nice to improve. This is sort of my life now, my new career. I'm an ARCer, A-R-C, that's after retirement career, and I consider what I'm doing hugely more significant and important than what I was doing previously when I was waging, in other words, getting a wage or a salary, as a waging professor. I teach a class of 20 students, that kind of thing. But now I can teach the planet, right? I'm on YouTube. The whole planet has access to YouTube. Sometimes in some countries, if they're rather politically backward, they have to use other means like proxy servers and VPNs.